Coming up, we prepare for the opening night Devils, Red Wings at the Rock, and also tip our cap to the extended Lindy Ruff. Let's get after it next. Yes, sir. It's DPL, the Devil's Puck Luck podcast, where we are your host over here, Adam Armbrecht, breaking down the Brooklyn Nets on the Locked On Nets podcast with Doug Norrie, and also the tanking New York Football Giants on OGP, the One Giant podcast with Andrew Makowitz. We were joined here today by Danny McDonough, the 20-plus year season ticket holder, the pulse of the Devils fan base. How are we, sir, as you wrap up? I don't schedule vacations, but if I was, I might do it where I knew I was going to be back comfortably ready to watch this Devils season opener tomorrow night.
Listen, I'm going to be able to do it. Don't worry about that. I'm a little red, but the aloe's working all right. The aloe's
That's
working
all right.
all right. I'm amped for tomorrow night. Tomorrow night's going to be absolutely incredible. We're here, new hockey season. Already watching last night's game. We're going to watch some tonight too. So I'm pumped up, man. We've been waiting for this, right? Let's hope we carry over that 7-0 preseason into the regular season.
We'll get into some of the odds around the game, the over-under, obviously, and a couple of key matchups that we're excited for. But ultimately, it is the kickoff of the Devils NHL season. As Danny mentioned, already a few games under the docket. But before we get into the regular season, Lindy Ruff, we talked about this over the course of the offseason, that he's been a part of the process of bringing along some of these young players. He officially gets the extension. It just seems to make sense. If you're going to have this window for this core of players, why not have the guy that got you to this point continue to see it through?
Yeah, it's a great move by the Devils organization. I think the perfect timing too, right? Right before the regular season starts, to know that you're going to have your coach for multiple years moving forward. And Jack Hughes said it great. Jack Hughes was quoted as saying basically that Lindy came to him and said, "You're going to be a special player." Years ago when Jack was coming up, "You're going to be a special player. Do your thing." And I think that's a testament to what he wants to do for these young kids and what he can do for these young kids and this young core.
You better believe it, man. So as we turn our attention to the season opener against the Detroit Red Wings, visiting Detroit Red Wings, we remind you that this game preview is brought to you all season long by DraftKings Sportsbook, because the NFL season is going strong, and DraftKings Sportsbook is hooking new customers up with an offer that's even stronger. Bet just $5 on any game this week, and you can score $200 instantly in bonus bets. And DraftKings isn't stopping there. All customers can also take advantage of a sweetener offer every single game day throughout October. We always say, at least from my perspective, don't touch the Giants. It doesn't matter if you're getting 30 points. You shouldn't go near them, especially against the Bills this weekend. But the Jets, they took on the Broncos and came away with a victory. So maybe you dabble in those waters. Get in on the game day greatness. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code
THPN.
He's there. New customers can score $200 instantly in bonus bets when you bet just $5 on the NFL. That's promo code
THPN.
Only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.100gambler.net. In New York, call 887-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY to 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hills Casino and Resort licensee partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles. 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction, void in our friends to the north, Ontario, Canada. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms and eligibility and deposit restrictions, as well as gambling resources. And Danny, as we talk about our friends over at DraftKings, this one's coming in hot and heavy. We have the New Jersey Devils, a home favorite in their opener, as we would anticipate, laying NFL size spread 1.5 to the Detroit Red Wings, with the money line sitting there at minus 258 for the Devils. You expect it over under 6.5. Where's your gut in terms of if you were to throw a couple coins down?
If I was going to bet this game, which I'm not going to, I would parlay the New Jersey Devils, obviously, and I would parlay with the over. I think there's going to be a lot of goals in this game. You got to remember, Detroit Red Wings do have some firepower in Larkin and DeBrincat, so they're going to score some goals. They got Raymond. They have some good players that can score some goals. I just think that this is definitely beneficial for the Devils to start with a team like the Red Wings, which are most likely going to be a bottom three team in their respective division. Their defensive core isn't great, right? So the Devils should take well advantage of that, and you should see the top lines roll. I'm super excited to see Jack, Jesper, and Toffoli, obviously, and then see Timo, Nico, and Mercer. I think they're going to score some goals. I can see the Devils having 5 goals, maybe even 6 goals. It's you never know.
I like it. Listen, if I was, yeah, I think 5 goals is possible. I think the under is possible in this one, whether it's the Devils, maybe a shutout here. I do want to talk about VTech a little bit in the opener as well. Could be a 4-0, could be a 5-1. But to your point, I might take the under, not because I don't think there's going to be scoring. I think it's just going to be a one-sided affair in that regard. And I like those little coupling together of parlay, something that we'll do throughout the season. You mentioned over on the Detroit Red Wings, their top line there with Larkin, obviously at the center position. When you think about it coming into this game, at least for myself, beyond the excitement of the stars, the Jack Hughes, looking at that top line with Jesper Bratt and Toffoli, and just wanting to see them carry over everything we got through the course of camp, I do think about the Red Wings, a bad team, but there's every team has talent. And then I look at our defensive pairings, and I'm
Mhm.
interested to watch and see how they unfold together, even with a Luke Hughes. I'm only all gas, no brakes when it comes to Luke Hughes, but especially against a bad team like Detroit, at least on paper, I don't want to see him be too risky because the opportunities are going to come offensively. You don't have to gamble in a game like this. Let it come to you and make sure that you're defensively sound. Because I think that's where you start, and then you let the offense do their job.
Right, continue to play your game, right, that you played throughout the preseason, how you wanna basically run your game, up and down the ice, defensively and offensively, and it's gonna be exciting to see Marino and Ball really play against Larkin. I think that you're gonna see them
Yeah.
on the ice a lot, that pairing. Uh, but don't sleep on the Red Wings. I think they're gonna be better than last year. I do think that they have some scoring power. I don't think that they're ready for the playoffs yet, but they're growing as an organization, and they're a sneaky team. They can score some goals, and again, just because remember that you're going into Prudential Center, the Devils are expected to be a top 5 team in the NHL. The Red
Sure.
Wings know that, man. The Red Wings are hungry. The Red Wings are hungry to go into the Rock and try to get a victory, obviously. So the Devils obviously can't take them lightly, and I think that what's important is for the Devils to get on the board early. I see the Devils winning this game like 5-2. But again, Dylan Larkin is a special player. DeBrincat is a special player. So, you got to be mindful defensively, especially, what you're referring to. And I'm curious to see how Luke Hughes plays against these top guys as well.
Yeah, and you mentioned their Ball in that pairing, obviously getting elevated up with Marino. That's going to be really exciting. He's taking the next step in his career. I'll also note when you go back and think about Ball, who last season, he plays in 42 games, 2 goals, 6 assists. It's a low level kind of line for him. I expect him to take a jump here. And this is, I know it's always offensive minded, but you see those moments from him over the course of camp. I like having him paired with Marino, where I think playing off one another as those lines offensively rotate through, he's going to be a fun guy to watch. The power plays, let's just zero in here. This is both this game and also the season at large. Carry it over, right? When you see the success that these power play units had in camp, I do not want to see them get 3 power plays in the first 2 periods and put up a goose egg. I think that the pressure will start to build inside of them around what they're supposed to be able to do. So I do want to see special teams both ways be as productive as they were in camp. Let's get that lamp lit early when you see those chances. And I really do think with the speed they have, you're going to get that early in this matchup. It's just a matter of converting them and then putting the Red Wings on their back heels. Because as a footnote, I'm talking about a bad team in the Red Wings. I agree with you. They are going to be improved this year, and you don't get onto the ice and just automatically assume, watch this team roll over, right? It's a season opener for everybody around the NHL. You know you're going to get their best shot.
Exactly. I agree. And I'm going to go on record and say the Devils will win the Metro only if their power play and their penalty kill, their special teams is leading the Metro. I think that they have
Hey,
to be the best power play team in the Metro division to win this division over Carolina, which I think they will. And again, preseason doesn't matter. The 7-0 record does not matter. We have to carry it over to the regular season, and we have to continue to take the strides and really show on paper the
yeah.
best power play unit, the 2 best power play units to me, maybe in the NHL.
And that's ultimately, I think it does come down to, man, that's 5, 6, 7, 8 wins or not on a season if your power play is converting and if your special teams defensively are coming through in the clutch. Obviously, I mentioned there as well before we get out of here, watching VTech between the pipes. We said he had a strong camp. We know it was disappointing playoffs. I just want to see him get off to a really strong foot here to start this season. We're going to watch it all season long, but every single narrative that feels positive coming out of the camp, let's just make sure that it's still the same way. Let's not feel like we have some regressions or question marks, whether it is a Brendan Smith, right? Whether it's Miller getting some ice time at some point and just saying, what is this all going to look like? There's still a couple of boxes to check. So all I want is high firepower on the offensive end. consistency on the defensive end, and for special teams to come through when it matters most. Closing thoughts, Danny, before we give our final official, everything on the line predictions.
I love it. I'm excited to see the top two lines, obviously seeing the superstar power, but I'm curious to see what Lindy Ruff does with the third and fourth line. If he rotates McLeod up to that third line to play with Holtz and pull out a little bit and puts Lazar down to the fourth line. But we got four great lines that are going to be rolling. I'm really excited to see Holtz, and I'm hoping that he gets at least a point in tomorrow night's game, the home opener. I think it's going to be great for his mentality, for his confidence moving forward in the season. And let's not sleep on that third line. You know, Palat and Lazar are going to clear some pucks up for Holtz in that open ice that we've been talking about for the last few weeks. And Holtz is going to have some opportunities. Shoot the puck. Holtz, shoot the puck.
Low level from we talk about the lines. Lazar, I'm excited. He gets a chance here. We've loved him in camp. We finally got a sample of him. Let's see him carry it over as well. Final prediction for me, man. I'm going to go ahead and take the under. I'm going to call this a 4-1 home opener victory for the New Jersey Devils. I've got Luke Hughes with a power play goal tonight, and I also have brother Jack lighting that lamp in this one. So the brothers get on the board early this season. What do you got?
All right, tonight's game, I'm going 5-2 Devils with an empty net goal. So it's going to be 4-2. So about the last minute or so, we're going to get an empty net goal, 5-2. I have Jack Hughes with a goal and 2 assists.
Hello, with that line, you'd expect it to Foley, Jesper. Let's go ahead and get after it, boys. We'll be back in talking post-game wrap-up. We're going to be doing it all season long, so get over to YouTube, turn on the alerts, get the podcast feed. You get over to Twitter, at NJDevilsPL, at Danny the Face, at Adam Armbrecht. You get over to social on TikTok, on Snapchat, on Instagram, on Facebook, at Devils Puck Luck. And that's where you're going to find us, buddy, until we come back in. Hopefully, following a resounding victory in the season opener, we will catch you next time.